Hello everyone. Today I will be teaching you about hematopoiesis, the process in which the body uses to form new blood cells. Hematopoiesis is an important physiological mechanism because it allows the body to continuously produce new blood cells to maintain homeostasis and keep the body functioning properly. Every day, like clockwork, the body makes billions of new blood cells. I can say, I bet they never get a lunch break. These blood cells are necessary for transporting oxygen, fighting infections, and stop excessive bleeding. Without hematopoiesis, we would not be able to survive. Hematopoiesis mainly occurs in red bone marrow. Red bone marrow is found inside certain bones of the body, like the pelvis, the ribs, the sternum, and the vertebrae. Bone marrow acts like a factory where immature cells go to grow and develop and become different types of blood cells. The process begins with hematopoietic stem cells, which are basic cells that can develop into two different types of blood cells, depending on what the body may need. Hematopoietic stem cells can divide into two main branches, myeloid progenitor cells and lymphoid progenitor cells. Lymphoid progenitor cells develop into immune cells like T cells, B cells, and natural killer cells that help the body battle against infections. Here in my diagram, you can see how I have broken it down into the two divisions that hematopoietic stem cells divide into, the myeloid progenitor cells and the lymphoid progenitor cells. If you need to take a screenshot, there we go. There are three major types of blood cells that are produced through hematopoiesis: red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. First, I want to talk about red blood cells, or erythrocytes. I like to think of them as delivery trucks because they spend all day transporting oxygen. Red blood cells have hemoglobin that help carry oxygen through the lungs to the rest of the body. An interesting fact about red blood cells is that the body can produce over 2 million of them every second. Red blood cells also do not have a nucleus, which gives them more space to carry oxygen throughout the body. If your oxygen levels drop, your kidneys release a hormone called erythropoietin, which tells your bone marrow to make more red blood cells. For example, if you lose blood or go to a high altitude, your body makes more red blood cells to create more oxygen. The second type of blood cell is white blood cells, also known as leukocytes. White blood cells are part of the immune system and help protect the body from infections caused by bacteria and viruses. There are several types of white blood cells known as neutrophils, lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophils, and basophils, and each helps protect the body in a different way. An acronym I like to use is Never Let Monkeys Eat Bananas, which is in the order from the most common to least. During an infection, white blood cells are increased to help fight off pathogens and to maintain health. The third type of blood cell that is produced through hematopoiesis are platelets. Platelets are small cell fragments that help with blood clotting. When a blood vessel is damaged, platelets clump together to form a platelet plug. Without enough platelets, even small injuries can become dangerous because the body will not be able to stop the bleeding effectively. Hematopoiesis is connected to homeostasis because the body is constantly adjusting blood cell production in response to what it may need. When oxygen levels decrease, more red blood cells are produced. If there's an infection, then more white blood cells are made. If bleeding occurs, then platelet production increases. This constant regulation helps maintain balance and corrects function throughout our bodies. When hematopoiesis doesn't work right, it can cause serious health problems. A few examples are anemia, which happens when you don't have enough healthy red blood cells to carry oxygen. Leukemia is a type of cancer when the bone marrow makes an abnormal white blood cell. Thrombosis neutropenia is when it makes too few platelets, which makes it easier to bleed too much. In all, hematopoiesis is how the body makes red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets in the bone marrow. This process is key for carrying oxygen, fighting infections and clotting blood, and keeping the body balanced. Without hematopoiesis, we would not be able to survive. that is the end of my teaching video. I hope you like it. If you have any questions, leave them in the reply box.